Today we're going to be taking a look at my girlfriend's 2020 Orbea Occam H20 Eagle. You guys seem to like the video of my Scott overview and review, so I thought I would do one of her bike. Now to start off with the basics, this is the metallic black and matte gloss. So as you guys can see on some parts, it has a matte finish, like right here. But then on top it has a gloss. Most of the decals are in gloss, but on the inside of the bike, like the inside of the frame, there's some gloss. But for the most part, it is a matte. They say black, but it's actually almost like a dark midnight blue. In the sun in the right area, it has sparkles to it. And one thing, a con about this bike, is it is super hard to keep clean because of the colors and the texture of the paint itself. The weight of this bike is 31.6 pounds, mainly due because this is the aluminum version, the non-carbon. Even though it's a little bit heavier in the air, it feels more stable, as well as on some downhill terrains that I took it on. Maybe that's just because it weighs more. It's not as light, not as flickable as my carbon bike, but it does feel stable nonetheless, and the weight doesn't really hit you until you're climbing. Now we are going to go over some of the specs of this bike, starting with the fork. It is a Fox Float 34. We have about 140 mil of travel. The crank is an SRAM CNC Eagle. The handlebar width is 780 millimeters. We have the SRAM NX Eagle shifters. For brakes, you have the Shimano M6100, which we'll go into a little bit later. The cassette is the SRAM 1150 12-speed. In the wheels, we have the Race Face AR30C with Maxxis Recon tire and a Max and High Roller 2, which are very fast roller tires. So some pros of the bike. Even though, like I said before, it's heavy at 31.6 pounds, it definitely feels nimble. Maybe it's more nimble for me because this is her bike and it is a small, and I usually ride a medium. The additional weight, like I said before, makes it feel sturdy in the air. This bike does extremely well on flow trails as well as technical chunky trails. I've ridden this on the exact same trails I've ridden here on my Scott, and this thing held its own. The only real factors that are holding it back are brakes and tires, but the travel of the bike is just as good as mine because mine is a 150. It's well balanced, doesn't feel too nose or tail end happy. I did notice, maybe it's the geometry of the bike, but on more chunky stuff, the rear wheel does hop a lot more or tend to come up more compared to the Scott Genius. It does well on technical climbs, even though it is heavier. It is a swappable wheel size, so you can swap these 29-inch wheels out for 27.5. And overall, it is a great trail bike. But also could definitely be used for cross country. Now some cons are, it definitely is heavy while climbing. You feel that on the steep climbs. Also because the engagement is not the greatest. As you guys can see, there's a bit of slack before engagement. It does make some of the technical stuff a bit trickier to get up, but just like with all bikes, unless you upgrade the hubs, you're gonna have that negative engagement. Another interesting thing about the Orbea is it's only a left-sided water bottle holder. As you guys can see, there's a bar right here. So for beginning, and for me and Michaela, reaching with our left hand for the water bottle was something we're not used to. We're mainly right-handed, so that takes some time to get used to. And like I said before, the color is very hard to keep clean. But a good thing is everything is easy, accessible to reach. You have your dropper post right there. You have your lockout on the bottom, as well as your rebound selection. This clip has like a spring assist to it, so you barely have to flick it and it goes. Same with the top, you have your rebound like a dial. works easily. She has a timber bell. The shifters are nice, they're nice and precise. The brakes on this bike could definitely use upgrading. Like on a car, I can experience brake fade if you ride them a lot, but overall I think for her riding style, these brakes are great. If I ever upgrade mine, I'll give her mine off the Scott, but for her riding, more than enough. This bike is more than enough for her. She has the GD pedals and hand grips to match her stickers, but overall the Orbea Occam H20 is a great beginner bike. Even for me, who's a little more experienced than her, I could easily ride this bike and have fun. There's no issues with it. It's a little bit cheaper than most bikes. It comes in around $3,000, and I think that is a steal for what this bike is capable of. So if you're looking for a good one, a good full suspension, add this to your list. Look at the Scott Spark, but the Scott Spark is more of a cross country with 130 mil of travel in the same price range as this. So I think the best bang for your buck down for a full suspension with a lot of travel and customization, the Orbea does a great job of it. And good front angle of attack, decent geometry, and you can basically make this into any style you want. Get a different head stem, different bars. But yeah, this is my little take review of Michaela's Orbea Occam H20, and I highly recommend it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.